Have you ever wondered how some people make it past 90 or even 100 with a smile on their face, a spring in their step, and a heart still full of joy? They're not superheroes, and they're not living in a bubble either. They've simply found ways to live that support their bodies, their minds, and their spirit, day after day, year after year. And the best part? These longevity secrets aren't locked away in a lab somewhere. They're right in front of us. And they're easier to start than you might think. Maybe you've noticed that your energy isn't quite what it used to be, or you've been wondering how to keep your body strong and your mind sharp as the years roll on. You're not alone. We all reach a point where we start thinking more seriously about how we're living and how we want to feel in the years to come. The good news is the world's oldest people, folks in their 90s, 100s, and even beyond, have left us a trail to follow. And it's not about expensive supplements or chasing youth. It's about living smarter, with more heart and more intention. So, what are they doing differently? What's helping them live not just longer, but better? Let's dive into the first simple secret. Something you can begin today without needing to change your whole life. It starts with something so basic, it's often overlooked. They move their bodies every day, but gently. Think about it. You don't see 100-year-olds in the gym lifting heavy weights or running marathons. But what you do see is daily motion. Gardening, walking, sweeping the porch, tending to animals, going up and down stairs. Movement is part of their life, not separate from it. In places like Okinawa, Japan, home to some of the world's oldest people, you'll find elders who still squat to cook, carry water, or sit on the floor and get back up with ease. It's not because they have magical joints. It's because they never stopped moving. Their muscles, bones, and balance stayed strong because they stayed in motion. Now, maybe you can't squat like you used to, and that's okay. The key isn't intensity. It's consistency. Start by adding more movement into what you already do. Walk around the house during phone calls. Stretch your arms while the kettle boils. Do a few heel raises while brushing your teeth. These little actions add up. They keep blood flowing, joints loose, and your heart gently working. And more importantly, they remind your body that it's still alive, still capable, still needed. But the real magic happens when movement connects with purpose. That brings us to the second secret of longevity. They have a reason to wake up each day. In Okinawa, they call this ikigai, your reason for being. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, another longevity hotspot, elders often say they feel needed well into their 90s. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be a job or a big goal. It can be as simple as caring for a plant, writing a letter to a friend, preparing a meal, or being there for your grandchildren. When you have something or someone you feel connected to, something you look forward to, it lights a fire inside that no amount of vitamins can replace. And if you're sitting there thinking, but I don't really have a purpose anymore, let me gently say this. It's never too late to find one. Start small. What makes you smile? What calms your heart? What brings you a sense of peace or usefulness? You could read to a child. Share your stories. Teach someone something you know well. Even something as quiet as watching the sunrise each morning and whispering a thank you can become a meaningful ritual. Purpose doesn't come to you. You create it. One small act at a time. And here's something else these long-living people do. They take time to connect, which leads us to the third secret. They build strong social bonds. You won't find many 100-year-olds who live in total isolation. In fact, loneliness is one of the biggest silent killers as we age, not just emotionally, but physically. Studies show it can increase the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and even shorten your lifespan. But connection doesn't have to mean a big family or a busy social calendar. It can be a neighbor you wave to every morning, a friend you call once a week, a church group, a walking club, or even just a friendly banter you share with the person who delivers your mail. Humans are wired for connection, and the oldest among us know this. They make time for it, even if it's just a short conversation each day. So ask yourself, who do I enjoy talking to? Who might enjoy hearing from me? Reach out, write a letter, invite someone for tea. Start small. It's never about numbers. It's about quality. A heart that feels seen and heard has more strength than we often realize. When we begin to move our bodies gently, nourish our hearts with purpose, and open ourselves to meaningful connection, we set the stage for more energy, more clarity, and more joy, no matter our age. Let's keep going. You know, when we look at the lives of people who have lived well into their 90s and beyond, something becomes very clear. They aren't just existing. They're living, fully. And they don't do it with grand gestures. It's the quiet, steady, thoughtful choices they make every single day that keep them vibrant. We've already talked about the power of gentle movement, the spark of purpose, and the strength of connection. But there's more. There's a habit so simple, yet so overlooked, that it almost feels too easy. And that's the fourth longevity secret. They eat real, unprocessed food, mostly plants, and they don't overeat. Now, before you think this is another lecture about dieting, it's not. The oldest people in the world don't diet. They don't count calories or chase superfoods. What they do is something far more intuitive. They eat foods close to nature, and they stop eating before they're full. In Okinawa, there's a saying, "Hara hachibu." It means eat until you're 80% full. Not stuffed, just satisfied. It's about listening to your body, not the clock, not the portion size, and definitely not the guilt. In Loma Linda, California, a community known for high longevity, many elders follow plant-rich diets, filled with vegetables, beans, fruits, whole grains, and nuts. These foods aren't just fuel. They're nourishment. They keep inflammation low, energy steady, and digestion smooth. So what can you do today? You don't need to overhaul your whole kitchen. Just make one gentle shift. Maybe you add an extra serving of vegetables to lunch. Maybe you swap out that sugary snack for a handful of almonds or a slice of fruit. Or maybe the next time you eat, you pause halfway through and ask yourself, am I still hungry or just eating out of habit? It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. The world's longest living people enjoy their food. They savor it. They share meals with others. They give thanks. And they don't rush. And in doing so, they give their bodies exactly what they need without overdoing it. But even more fascinating than what they eat is how they relax. This is the fifth secret. And it's something many of us struggle with, especially in a world that never seems to slow down. The truth is, the oldest people on earth know how to rest, deeply and regularly, not just at night, but during the day. They build moments of calm into their routine. In Ikaria, Greece, another place where people often live past 100, it's common to nap in the early afternoon, not out of laziness, but because it restores their energy and resets their nervous system. In Sardinia, Italy, elders often gather to chat over coffee in the morning or a glass of wine in the evening, simply enjoying the stillness and the company. You don't have to take long naps or sit in silence for hours, but it is important to find time each day to pause, to breathe, to let go of tension. That could mean closing your eyes and listening to your favorite music, sitting on your porch with a cup of tea, doing a few minutes of deep breathing, or just turning off the TV and enjoying the quiet. Because here's the thing, stress doesn't just make us feel bad. It wears us down from the inside. It raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system, and fogs the brain. But when you give yourself even small moments of rest, real rest, you tell your body, you're safe, you're okay, you're cared for, and your body responds with strength, clarity, and resilience. It's a kind of self-care that doesn't cost anything but offers everything. And let me say this clearly, it's not too late. No matter your age, no matter how long you've been doing things a certain way, you can start again. You can add one plant-based meal. You can take one mindful breath. You can choose one small pause. Every single one of these actions sends a powerful message to your body that you want to keep going not just in years, but in joy. So often we think longevity is out of our hands, that it depends on genes or luck. But the truth is, while genes play a role, your choices matter even more. And that's what makes this so hopeful, because your choices are yours to make. Starting now, we walk through movement, purpose, connection, eating well, and rest. These aren't trends. These are time-tested truths. They've helped thousands of people live not just longer lives, but better ones. Lives filled with meaning, vitality, and grace. Let's keep this conversation going. When you step back and look at the daily lives of people who've lived a full century or more, you begin to notice something beautiful. Their lives aren't hurried. They're not built on pressure or perfection. They're built on rhythm, on balance, on little acts of care for themselves and for others. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway of all. Longevity isn't about chasing time. It's about cherishing it. All these habits we've talked about, gentle movement, meaningful purpose, strong social ties, simple natural food, and daily moment of calm, they don't require you to change who you are. They just ask you to come home to yourself a little more each day, to remember that your body is still listening, that your heart still has so much to give, that your story is far from over. And the best part? None of these habits require youth. They require presence, willingness, a gentle belief that you are worth taking care of no matter your age. That now is a perfectly good time to begin, because it's not too late to become a little stronger, a little more connected, a little more energized. It's not too late to look forward to your mornings or to walk a little farther than you did last week. It's not too late to make someone smile or to smile for yourself. Not too late to feel proud of how far you've come. And certainly not too late to fall in love with life again, just as it is. In fact, many of the world's longest living people didn't change their ways because they feared aging. They embraced life because they were aging. They knew that every sunrise was a gift, every shared meal a celebration, every quiet evening a chance to give thanks. They slowed down not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. They knew what mattered. And maybe that's what we're all trying to find in the end. A way to live that feels honest. A way to feel like ourselves, even as the years change us. A way to wake up and say, this day matters, and so do I. So if you're watching this right now and something in your heart says, I want more of that, follow that. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to start. Maybe today is the day you take a short walk and breathe in the morning air. Maybe you call an old friend just to hear their voice. Maybe you try a new recipe with fresh vegetables. Maybe you sit for 5 minutes and let the quiet hold you. These aren't small things. These are the real things. The things that add up, not just in years, but in meaning. The things that make life feel full, no matter how old you are. And remember this. Every step you take toward your own well-being, no matter how small, is a step toward more joy, more clarity, more life. You have a say in how you age. Not in every detail, of course, but in the way you show up, the way you treat your body, the way you tend to your spirit. You have that power, and you've always had it. So here's what I hope for you, that you find your rhythm again, that you feel proud of the little shift you're making, that you keep moving, keep connecting, keep resting, keep choosing what nourishes you. And most of all, I hope you remember that growing older is not a decline. It's a deepening, a becoming, a quiet, powerful unfolding of who you really are. If this video touched something in you today, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Your wisdom might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. We're building community here, one that honors aging not as a loss, but as a gift. Here's to living your best life at any age. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way.